I've been cleared by my doctor. I'm fully cleared, full go for football activity. So I'm just waiting on my phone to ring. I know a lot of teams were worried about whether I would recover well or whether I'm gonna be healthy by training camp. Yes, I will be. I'm healthy now. I'm just not at 100%. But by training camp, I'll be 100%. And I'm not chasing any teams, man. If a team wants me on their team, they want a guy who's gonna give them everything they got, who's gonna lead the right way, show up to work the right way, and play the game the right way, then they assign me. And that team, I promise you, they won't regret it.
You're still in Dallas and you
Yes,
never played a game for them, but you stayed close with members of that organization and members
I
on that
did.
defense. Cowboys a possibility though, right?
Yeah, Cowboys definitely a possibility. But I'm open to anybody. Whoever wants a veteran defensive lineman. I believe all teams can use a veteran defensive lineman because when you got guys who are stout in the middle on defense, it helps the whole team. So whoever wants my services, I'm ready to rock.
You spent a bulk of your career in Tampa, and of course, you see them win a Super Bowl this year.
Hmm.
It seems like that could be a reunion too with a veteran defensive lineman that you can help them. And it seems like everybody wants to go there right now.
Yeah, man. Tampa would be a great place to especially finish up, man. I know regardless whether I go back and actually play there, I'm going to go back at least for a day so I can retire as a Buck. But it would be great to finish my career there. But like I said, I'm open to anybody. Whoever wants my services, I'm ready to go.
One guy you won't be chasing anymore is Drew Brees, that you played a lot
Yeah,
against.
yeah.
What was it like lining up against Drew over the years?
Yeah, Drew was incredible, man. And I told Drew if I'm blessed enough one day to make it to Canton, his name will be mentioned in my speech. Uh, Drew he's inspired more people than he knows. And even with what happened last year, he made that statement. And the thing I'll say about Drew is he personally reached out to me. He didn't just make that public statement with what he did. Drew personally texted my phone because he understands the relationship me and him had. And he apologized personally. And I can respect that. That's just the type of man Drew is. And that goes to show the type of competitor he was and just what everything he put into this game, man. But Drew, more than just being a huge competitor and beating all the odds of being a short quarterback, of being a person who didn't have to have this super rocket arm or whatever it is, the prototypical quarterback, man. He beat all the odds and he's a wonderful man, person, and player. And I'm happy for him. Drew, you enjoy retirement and everything that's coming your way, you deserve it, man.
We saw what happened at that girls' high school game in Oklahoma, and you were one of the first athletes to chime in. And I know this is something that, on all fronts, as being a father, as someone who has spent a lot of time in that area in Oklahoma, did you see he issued an apology on Friday and blamed his diabetes as a
Listen,
reason why? When you hear
listen.
that reason, excuse,
Okay, listen. Diabetes. He said type 1 diabetes, right? So I didn't want to get in this interview and be naive or be ignorant or not act like I didn't know what I was talking about. Okay, so I looked up the symptoms and side effects for type 1 diabetes. All right, I'm gonna read them off to you. It says excessive thirst, fatigue, hunger, sweating, nausea or vomiting, bedwetting, excessive urination, blurred vision, fast heart rate, headache, sleepiness, or weight loss. On none of those did I hear sporadic racism. So for you to say that your diabetes is the reason you did that, maybe your heart rate was up so much and you were so hungry that you just started blurting out all this. Man, listen, I don't want to hear that. You can keep that apology. Like that's not an apology. That's an excuse. And for a person to do that behind closed doors and say it that with that much anger and that much frustration is not the first time. So that apology is just because he got caught. That doesn't mean he's sorry.
I know you didn't want to say his name, but if Matt Rowan, needed to talk to someone and needed to understand how ignorant, how hurtful what he said was, would you be willing to talk to him? And what would you say to him?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, uh, we can't move forward without forgiveness. So just because I'm saying what I'm saying doesn't mean we can't forgive people, man. Especially with me, my faith is huge in my life, and it's what I focus everything on and how I operate based off what the word says I should do. And the first thing it talks about is forgiveness. So yeah, I definitely will forgive him and do forgive him for his actions. And if he feels like he is that naive and doesn't understand, yeah, I'll be happy to tell him what he doesn't understand. What he doesn't understand about me, who has 5 Black children, that I have to talk to them differently than he has to talk to his children. How my high school son last year, when he would go to parties, I would have to tell him, if anything happens, don't walk up the street. If anything happens at a party, don't just leave and get away from the party and be walking up the street, because you and a white kid could both be walking up the street. You're going to get approached differently. I have to tell my son, hey, get to a restaurant and have a seat. Get inside somewhere and have a seat so you don't get profiled. He doesn't have to talk to his children that way, or to talk to my daughter when she was in middle school to come home crying because somebody called her a racial slur. He doesn't have to go through that. He doesn't understand what Black parents have to tell their kids on a daily. We have 2 totally different ways of raising our children because something as simple as our skin color. He doesn't understand that. But if he wants to understand, I'll be happy to tell him. I promise you I would. Because he needs to understand you're missing the point. We get profiled just because we look different. And I guarantee he's never had to, even with his diabetes, I guarantee he's never had to walk out his house and worry about, are people going to look at me different just because my skin is this color? Can I walk up the street past somebody and worry about them clutching their purse tighter, or going on the other side of the street, or worried about them going to do something just because they look a certain way? I guarantee he's never had to deal with that or had to tell his children about it. But if you want to understand, call me. I don't mind it. I'll tell you. I promise you I will.